Everybody always says mods don't have to be expensive to completely change the way your car feels. So today we're going to test that. Now this isn't a bigger turbo, this isn't new wheels, this is ambient lighting. But I swear, when your car looks better, you drive better. So today I'm installing Glowride Ambient Lighting in my car, and I'm also going to be breaking down the install for you, and at the end we're going to see if this is all actually worth it or if it's just some RGB nonsense. Alright, so here's how the video is going to go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do the unboxing and we're going to make a game plan. Step 2, the install. We hope everything's going to go good, but it's an install, something's probably going to go wrong. Let's just hope it's not that bad. Step 3, we're going to go through the wiring, the cleanup, and make sure everything's all nice and set up for you. And finally, step 4, we're going to do the night test. This is where you'll get to see the lights in action, as well as I'll be giving my final verdict. And yes, we're absolutely turning everything green. Alright guys, step 1. We're going to get this thing unboxed and make a game plan. As you can see, this is the basic Glowride Ambient Lighting Kit. I was lucky enough to get this gifted to me by my girlfriend on Christmas. She got it on sale for $100, but I know retail price on this now is like $240, which is honestly crazy. So we got a crazy good deal on it, but this is not to say that it's not worth getting at full retail price. So my personal goal with this lighting kit was never to go crazy over the top. I personally just wanted something that fits the car and the goals that I had for it. You know, last year I installed the Starlight headliner. Honestly, I love it. I don't regret it at all. It's a nice, great touch. Originally, I did have some footwell lighting. I took that out, and now finally, we're installing the Glowride. Ambient lighting is really just one of those mods that makes your car feel a lot more modern and honestly a little bit more luxurious. I think as far as interior lighting, this is going to complete the look. I'll have my star lights up top and my ambient lighting all around me. It'll be perfect. Alright guys, now let's open this thing up. First thing you'll see when opening it up is all of the light strips. Mine are all nice and stuffed in here. I don't even know how they got it in. I took it out a little bit before I showed you guys and I could not get it back in. Besides from that, you have your remote, you have a cigarette port adapter, and you also have the little controller module with the little USB to USB-C adapter, which all of this is great, but I'm personally just gonna stick with the regular USB plug-in. Along with that, they give you 2 little cards. One is an instruction manual and one is a link to the app, which you know we're both gonna use. Then we have the squeegee, some double-sided 3M tape, some 3M like mounting hooks, and then lastly, they even gave us a little air freshener. Vanilla. Alright guys, now that we know everything we have, it's time for the planning. How are we going to install this? How do we want it to go? How do we want it to flow? And what's the overall goal here? So to keep it simple, there's quite a few images online and quite a few videos of other people doing it. Generally, I kind of want to keep it the same. I did a couple sketches of how I wanted to do it. I was thinking this way or this way. Y'all have probably seen both. I decided to go with this one because I really want the ambient lighting to go all the way around the door. I want something nice on the center console, just going on both sides. Then, you know, I want it to go on both sides of the radio. And lastly, I want it to go on the passenger side on top of the glove compartment. But if you were paying attention, that would probably require me 7 strips. And I only have 6. So how are we going to account for that? So the way I'm thinking is we're going to take off the mount above the radio. You know where the little AC vents are? We're going to take that off and we're going to try and just use one LED to go up on one side of the radio, go behind that piece, and then come back down on the other side. And luckily these pieces seem long enough to do that. Now I did see some other designs that I kind of want to do, but I just don't have enough for that. I was thinking a 7th piece would look great, just like right under the driver's side vent. I think that would look really good. I saw a lot of people doing their lights over their gauges, and I kind of wanted to do that, but honestly, I wanted to mitigate any risk of it not looking straight. I wanted it to be kind of as seamless, as straight, intentional curves, but do it all as nice as possible. Then the last thing to think about is the wiring. Where are we gonna put all that? We have, and we're gonna have quite a bit of wiring left over that we're gonna have to figure out where to put, because I've seen some people just stuff it in their middle console, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm definitely gonna be trying my best to hide all of it. But the plan here is to either hide it under the seats, under the middle console, or back behind the dash. Just one of those spots, wherever it fits the best, that's what we're gonna do. Alright guys, now that we know everything we have, it's time for step 2, the install. This is where all the fun actually begins. Like I said before, my goal with this is simple. Keep it clean and keep it hidden. That's what we're going to be going for. The first thing we're going to start with are the door panels. You know, I've made a video before on how to take off these door panels for my sound system. But to give you a quick recap, all you really have to do is open up that door latch. You're gonna need some kind of flathead or something to get the little cover behind that door latch to come out, because there's a bolt in there. Once you get that off, you're gonna have to go to your armrest and you're gonna have to carefully take that off. You can use the little squeegee as like a pry tool. Just start from one end to the other. Be very careful. You definitely don't want it to break. But take that off. You're going to want to unplug the harness there. And there's also going to be a bolt there as well. Alright, lastly, before you can take the panel off, there's 2 more bolts on the bottom side of the door. Those are really simple to get to. Just get down on the floor, lay down, and take them off. After that, you're good to take off the door panel. Then, once you take it off, you still have this little latch behind the door handle. You know, the little thing that you pulled earlier? You have that thing. You can use some needle nose pliers just to pull it out and over. Just release that. And then unplug that and unplug any other wiring harnesses that are there, and then safely put that to the side. This part is going to go right before how we're taking off that door panel. So the reason why I'm starting with the door panel is because this is going to take the longest in my opinion. We're going to have to take off the entire door panel. And the reason we're doing this is because I want to hide as much of the wiring back behind the door panel or inside of it. And then from there, run it behind the weather strip into behind the dash, and then back to our power source. Alright guys, now that we have the door panel completely taken off, I'm taking off 3 more bolts to take off my door speaker. Now once we get that off, we're going to take off this grommet on the side of the door, and then we're going to feed in the wire from there and up through this other hole. You're really just using the space behind this door speaker to help guide those wires out. And then from there, I'm going to put the white strip in through the door handle, and that's where I'm going to start it. Now for the other side of the wire, I'm going to run that through the weather strip. I took off this panel right here. Then I ran my wires through it, and this is behind the glove compartment. Then it's going to come right back down under. And then we're just going to leave it like that for now. Okay guys, let's pause. I want to go ahead and tell you a little bit about my personal favorite detailing products that I definitely recommend you should try. I like to stay pretty consistent with my detailing products. I have my go-to pressure washer, which I've been using for a couple of years now. It's the Adams Polishes Active Pressure Washer 2.0. I have my basic car detailing kit, which comes with a bunch of things like sponges, brushes, you can name it. Then we get into the soap I use. I like to go with this Chemical Guys Hydro Sud Ceramic. It's super foamy and I love it, especially paired with this Rain Covo foam cannon. Now, once you're done washing the car, you want to make sure you grab yourself a good towel. Black line towel is honestly my favorite towel I've used to this day. Once you're done with that, you want to make sure you get your interior right with this Chemical Guys Total Interior Cleaner. And the last 3 things I personally use is this DIY ceramic spray to make sure and seal up your car for a nice clean finish. Then you have your TS2 Touchless Tire Shine. I personally really like this one because it makes my tires extra shiny. For this last one, which is the Spray Away Glass Cleaner, if you know, you know. You just spray it on, it foams up, and then you clean it off. Simple as that. But alright guys, let's go ahead and get back to the video. So now we're just going to get back to the LED strip install. Like I said, your LED strip should be hanging outside of the door handle area. You know, the little armrest, that's what I meant to say earlier. It's time to put everything back up. I went ahead and put the speaker back up, put the door panel back up. Don't forget to plug back in your wiring harnesses as well as the door latch, otherwise your door is not going to open. And then it's time to get the LED strip installed. So honestly, this is a little bit harder than it looked. Like I saw a bunch of videos, it looked like you would really just use a squeegee thing and then just put it in there and you'd be done within minutes. I'm gonna tell you guys, it's not that easy. These little panels are pretty tough to get anything through, especially the lights. So the way I did it is I started at the very edge. I put the squeegee in there, went up just a little bit, and slowly fed in the light strip while slowly working myself all the way around. From there, it'll be a little tough to get all the way through, but the real trouble is gonna be the corner going back down, especially if you're doing it my way. You don't have to. I wanted it to go back around that corner, but that corner was extra hard. Kind of cheated here. I couldn't use the squeegee anymore. I went and got a flathead and used that to put a little bit more tension in to create a little bit more space. Then I finished running the LED strip through there and it was a perfect fit. Didn't even have to cut anything. Now once you're done with that, make sure to put that armrest back on and it's time for the other one. This one we're not really going to go into much details since we already did that. And hopefully you'll be done with both door panels within an hour. It honestly took me 2 hours. But I also spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to take off the door panels and all that. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and take a break from all the hard stuff and do some easy things. It's time to pop out the little trim piece with the AC vents. You know, just start from one end to the other, get that off. And honestly, for the light strips going around the radio, you don't really need to try that hard. I really just got the squeegee in and put the light strips behind it and it went through really nice and really simple. I'm personally making all the light strips as flush with everything as I can. I really don't want it sticking out because during the day, whenever they're on, but you know, they're still cycling, you can kind of see the white plastic there, and it just makes me feel better if it's all flush and it all looks like it's supposed to be there. But alright, now we have the light strips around the radio there, and I'm telling you, it's starting to look good. The next thing, since we already have the trim piece off, we're gonna go ahead and clean it off. Use the little package that they gave you, it's like adhesive promoter, then put the 3M double-sided tape, and then put the lights in over it. Honestly guys, this is gonna be your choice or not, but I decided to go from left to right instead of right to left because I wanted all the light strips to flow back that way. I didn't want to see that one light strip coming up the other way. And to counter that, later I'm gonna get some electrical tape and just go around the exposed red and white wire. That way it's a little bit more hidden and hopefully a little bit more heat proof from the sun. I really don't know on that part, but that's the reasoning as to why I did it that way. Once I put that one on, I did have to cut a piece off, but I ran the wires right here next to the AC vent and back behind the glove compartment where the other wires were at. Alright, and lastly, we have the center console. So originally, I couldn't get these two pieces separated, so I decided to just take everything off completely and see if that would help. It turns out I could get the pieces separated. And it also turned out there's a lot of space under this thing. So we're definitely going to be putting all the wires there, which means now we can start routing everything through there. So I'm not going to lie guys, the door panels were pretty hard, but this is going to be pretty tough as well. That's why I'm hoping with this video, it really does help you figure out where to put everything. So at this point, we're basically getting into step 3, which is the wiring and setup. And I know we're not completely done here, but the reason why is because we have our last 2 strips and we also have our power source all in the same spot, and we want to make sure it fits. So what I did was I plugged in the strips, ran them all nice and neat outwards, and then slowly started to compress them all into little loops. That way they wouldn't be all tangled. And then from there, I put as much of it down underneath the cup holder area as I could. And honestly, this worked pretty well. The only thing that was kind of getting in the way was the piece where they all come together and then runs back to where I'm plugging it in. There almost wasn't enough wire to get the little USB module to plug back in, so that one became a pretty tight fit running it there. And then also just make sure to leave a little bit of extra wire coming out for the other 2 light strips that we haven't installed yet. After that, the wiring is all ready. It's all good to start putting everything back, but before we do, let's not forget about the last 2 strips. I'm sure if your car is anything like mine, you're gonna have to get in between those scenes and clean them pretty good. I definitely had to clean them, and then I used the adhesive promoter, wiped it all on again, then I used the double-sided 3M tape and started lining it up against that wall. So at this point, I was a little worrisome that when I put on the center console cover again, it might have not even shown and that it might go over the light strips completely. But luckily it didn't in the end, but I was still willing to take that risk. So anyways, once you start getting the light strips on, you're gonna notice that when it goes from the main piece down to the other piece, that it's not gonna form well going from flat against that wall to now the other way flat and over that piece. And so luckily I saw a bunch of videos online of people just bending these things and saying that it's okay, even from Glowride themselves. So I went ahead and took that risk and completely bent it as much as I could. That way it would go from that wall down to the other side as seamless as possible. I also made sure to have the other 3M tape already there, so when I put the lights on, I could just hold it down and make it stick. Anyways, after that, you're gonna have just a tiny little piece left, and you can choose to cut that off, or you can do what I did. I really didn't want to cut it off, so I decided to loop it back up and around that little panel again, and it kind of just looks intentional, especially when it's on. Anyways, after that, it's time to finish putting on the center console, pop everything back into place, and it's time to turn them on for real. Now that we have everything set up, you're gonna have 2 options to control it. You're gonna have the little remote that comes with it, as well as the app that you can download on the App Store. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I went through the app as much as I could. I know you can do some custom things on there, but I found that the remote was a lot easier to work with, and also had a few light mode settings on there that I couldn't find on the app. Like this little flow feature that I really like, I just couldn't figure out where it was on the app, and I just know that the button on the controller was right there, so that's what I'm using. Aside from that, I also noticed that on the USB module, there's also a little button. You can press that. It'll also kind of change stuff, but obviously there's not as many options there. The big thing here is that for setup, there's not really a lot of setup. Once it's all hooked up and connected to power, it basically just comes in as a Bluetooth device and automatically syncs up with your app. Super easy and definitely nothing to worry about. I really like that there's so many animations and colors behind this, but let's be honest, we're all probably gonna use our favorite colors, which in my case is green, so we're gonna set that up on the app and let you look at it. And I think honestly, besides this green, I still like the other flow animation, so I'm probably gonna be switching between the 2. There's a bunch of other cool animations that I feel like some of you will like, but personally, I'm pretty simple and I just want it one of these two ways. And as you can see, even during the day, as soon as we turned on the lights to test them, it instantly changed the vibe of the car. It honestly looks so cool and it definitely does look modern. And now it feels weird not having them on. It feels newer, cleaner, and more intentional. I love it. But now it's time for step 4, the night test. Here, we're really going to see how it looks in action, as well as we'll be giving our final opinions. But I'm not going to lie, this whole day I've been super excited about this and how it's going to turn out afterwards. So let's get to it. So, is ambient lighting necessary? No. But does it make the car feel way better every time you get in? Absolutely. For the price, the install, and the end result, I wouldn't mind doing this 100 more times just to experience what it feels like going from this to this. It's awesome. I love it, and I definitely recommend y'all doing it if you've even been thinking about it. I'm trying to figure out what's better, this or my Starlights. They honestly look so great, and I love that they pair really well together. I don't know if I could choose between the two. This install, I'm not gonna lie, was definitely more of a pain than the Starlights, but nonetheless, they both made a world of a difference to my car. Now, if you like this style of video, clean installs, honest mods, and no overhype, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more. I have plenty more coming. More builds, more challenges. This is all just getting started. Until next time, peace.